Hello, the internet. Well, I've touched my head again. Hello, the internet. Welcome to the latest issue of the Ghostlight Social. You know the score. We get creative people together. We raise our hopes and we dash our fears. See, the patter's down. I've got the intro sorted. That feels quite like a nice little thing now to keep saying. You know me. Bollocks to it. Hello, Lee.
Oh, hello, Mike. Not even a minute in, and you got a swear word in then.
Bollocks ain't swearing.
Of course it is. Listen, the patter's good. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Now, I challenge you next week to do it without touching your head.
Oh, I can't. I have to do that. I don't know why. I've just started doing it.
It's like, what is it? Who is it?
Mobot.
What's his?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Mobot.
Yeah.
Fair enough. How are we, Mike? You all right?
I'm all right. I'm going to tell a really quick story of my day.
Clock.
Because I think it's quite interesting. So I woke up this morning riddled with anxiety and feeling really shit about quite a lot of stuff. From everything, from the state of the industry to my personal future to all kinds of nonsense. And up until maybe 3 o'clock, I was kind of just really not very much fun to be around. And I went and had a bath and I listened to Adam Buxton's podcast, and I remember reading something on Twitter about if you put your knees up and you hold them together and you rock them from side to side, it gives you something for your mind just to focus on. So I did that for a little bit. Excuse me. Came downstairs, and then I've had a Zoom chat with Russell Brand, which has perked me right up. Yeah.
Oh, you slowly slipped into that one, didn't you?
Yeah, look,
Hang on, while we take that name off the floor.
Yeah.
How have you had a Zoom chat with Russell Brand?
So he's kind of been doing these. I mean, I'm not saying I had a personal one-to-one with him. I'm saying that as you can see from the poster there, I'm a little bit of a Russell Brand fan. So he was giving opportunities to people and I joined a select group, and we were talking about all sorts. He started off and said, I've got these really light-hearted questions here. We could do those. And then everybody just went, oh, I'm in recovery. I've been, sober 14 years. I'm doing this, that, and the other. And it got very, very deep. And I think that I love that side of him. Do you know what I mean? I'm really into it. It helps me enormously. And the last kind of hour, I don't know, I feel like I've been taking something because I just feel really buoyant and happy, and anxiety is kind of at bay for a little bit tonight. So,
oh, good for you. Yeah. I'm glad you've worked your way through it.
Yeah.
A bath is always good. Without wanting to lighten that in any way or belittle it or whatever, was your neighbour having a bath at the same time? Because you usually time your baths, don't you, at the same time?
Yeah, no, she's not a mid-afternoon bath kind of person. I just spotted an opportunity where my wife was about to go out with my daughter for a walk, and I was like, I'm going to cut my hair and I'm going to get a bath. Okay. And I'm going to listen to Adam Buxton.
Yeah. Candles? Did you go for the candles?
No, it's daylight. No need.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Okay.
I feel like I'm a little bit, my frame rate feels a little bit weird. Like I'm a little jittery. I don't know.
Is that just life generally, or is that your actual frame rate?
I think that's my actual frame rate. So I'm hoping people can hear me, and I just look a little bit like a 1912 video of a video. It's not even video, is it? Film, flippergram, still picture of an East London street. Okay,
well, good. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better, and you're in a chipper mood now. Yeah. It looks like. Yeah. So that's good.
Doing all right.
My day's been all right.
Yeah.
As it goes. I haven't been doing much, if I'm honest. A bit of housework and what have you. But I've got a couple of things to share, so I'm just going to do that really quickly.
Oh, one other thing as well is I've resigned. Oh, yeah. I've resigned from the Labour Party today.
Oh, have you? Do you want to tell us why?
I mean, without getting massively political, but I've been a supporter and a member of Labour my entire life. It feels the son of a miner, brought up in the miner strike. Was it ever going to be anything else? And I still, obviously, my allegiances lie to the left, and I'll still obviously look at everything that they do. I feel that the new leader made an error in rejecting Black Lives Matter in the manner in which he did, and belittled the organisation. it feels like he was courting the opposite side of the spectrum politically. And so as a protest, I have renounced my membership, and I'm hoping lots of other members follow suit.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
It's a sad moment because I have fought and died for that party, and it feels a really sad moment. But you know, it's the thing I can do currently whilst I'm sat at home, which hopefully will.
It's a strange time in the world, a strange time politically, and yeah. Well, you've got to stand for your principles, mate. I appreciate. I absolutely appreciate that. It's interesting because I'm going to. No, I can't talk about it. I might be able to talk about it next week. That sounds really one of those wanky things to say, doesn't it?
Tune in next week to find out what Lee's talking about.
I was just about to, because so no, I will talk about it, but I won't name names. So really quickly, so let's say, for example, that what have I just done? I've just done something. Let me get rid of that. So let's say, for example, and we maybe talk to our guests about this a little bit. In fact, we probably definitely will with Tom to some degree. There is this, theatres opening. We're going to talk about theatres in a minute. But theatres opening, let's say they open. Yeah. Let's say they open in January, right? Let's say that happens. One of the first things that people are going to see is Sir Ian McKellen playing Hamlet in an age-blind version of Hamlet. Now, I'm not being funny, but what the fuck? I mean, seriously.
I mean,
right? And I'm a little bit. To be fair, I love Ian McKellen. Of course, everybody does, right? But I'm a little bit annoyed at him because surely, with everything that's going on, Black Lives Matter. We were talking to Steph Lacey last week about people with disabilities and the lack of opportunity in theatre, especially. And the LGBTQ.
Thank you.
LGBTQ plus. And somebody approaches Ian McKellen and says, "Do you want to do Hamlet?" And he says, "Yes." You know what I mean?
There's a thing. I saw a tweet today from, I believe it was the production company, saying that there's going to be some fundraiser, and Sir Ian McKellen personally will match up to a value of £40,000. And I'm like, I love Ian McKellen. I think he's great, but fucking hell, he's got more than 40 grand in his bank.
Well, I mean, that's the annoying thing. You would think that, and the only thing I can compare that to, this is what I was about to say. The only thing I can compare that to is, let's say I as a jobbing actor, let's say I get offered a job, right? And one of the first things I do now is I look at the cast, and I'm thinking, especially something that's sort of, let's say, low pay.
Yeah.
I tend not to do no pay, but low pay. You look at the cast, and I'm thinking, how diverse is this cast? But it's taking somebody like me who I have to pay my mortgage. We have to pay our rent. We have to put, whatever. And I can't, I'm not necessarily in a position to turn work down.
No.
But somebody like Ian McKellen he doesn't need the money. He could quite easily have said, let's do the age. Let's do, it's really good that you're doing that, age blind Hamlet, but let's get somebody, let's pluck somebody else to do that.
Let's get, who is it from EastEnders? We were mentioning him, Dermot were talking about him the other week.
Yeah, fine, but bollocks to them. Let Dermot do it.
Well, yeah, let Dermot do it, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I was just thinking about age, that was all. I was trying to think of an old black actor.
I need to get that off my chest, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Look, let me share my screen really quickly before I bring the guests in. So I really quite liked this. I haven't shared anything for a few weeks. So the first thing, am I sharing now? What's going on here?
Yeah.
Have I shared? Where am I sharing?
YouTube.
It's not showing me. Oh yeah, there it is. Right. Okay. Good. It usually has a red line round it, and it hasn't. The Grinning Man, which is a Bristol Old Vic at home production, and the reason I like this, it's a musical, and I'm not big on musicals, but this has got
Singers
a lot of
bar.
It's quite dark. It's a little bit sort of what is it? Edward Scissorhands. It's a little bit that
Gothic.
sort of vibe. A little bit gothic, and there's a lot of puppetry in it, and I love puppetry in theatre. It absolutely it slays me every time. So that's worth a watch. And the other thing is, I do love Halls to the Planets. and that's the Philharmonic Orchestra, and that's live on YouTube, free on YouTube as well. So they're both worth checking out. I don't know what National Theatre are doing, but I don't care, quite frankly. So I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's brilliant. I'm sure there's a cast of 5,000, and thankfully they're all being paid, and that's great. But let's support regional theatre rather than national theatre, I think, because I think national theatre will be all right. How do I stop sharing that?
That's all right. I've taken it off screen.
Okay. So I'm saying about national theatre. Obviously, you want the National Theatre to survive, but it's not really a national theatre. It's a theatre for London. But today, statement from the Royal Exchange, obviously we're northern based, statement from the Royal Exchange, 65% of their workforce are going to be made redundant. 65%. And what's interesting about that is it's probably the first of many. Well, it's not the first, actually. There's been others. But certainly around here, it's the first big one, first of many. What's interesting is over the last few years, they've tried to become more self-sufficient. Yeah. And now, I believe, only something like about 15%, I could be wrong about that, about 15% of what they do comes from arts funding. Yeah. So they've tried to come away, a model to come away from that. And I wonder whether that's anything to do with it, because I wonder whether the theatres and the buildings that get more funding are going to, are more likely to survive.
Yeah, kind of.
Sorry, Mike, just really quickly, let me just add to it. The other interesting thing, and I don't know whether this is a typo because I don't really know the Royal Exchange that much, although it's quite local to me, over in Manchester. Never worked there, but that's another story.
Stop touting for work.
It seems to me that there are statements from two artistic directors. So Amy's nodding. So there is two artistic directors there. There is. I don't know what, but I would ask why. Why is there two artistic directors? There may be a good reason. I don't know. And perhaps we'll talk to our guests about that. Sorry, Mike, I interrupted you.
Sorry, I was just going to clarify. It was 25%, which is 2.5 million over their 10 million turnover. But I think the point still stands. Obviously, they're moving away from subsidies to be self-sufficient, which, to some in the society would applaud that. Others, have a different spin. Something which occurred to me, and I've tweeted about it, so if you want to have a look on my Twitter, is it feels like we are so far down the road now that any U-turn by the government to suddenly start funding arts is unlikely to happen. I think they will let it go to the wall. Because for two reasons. I have a mad conspiracy theory, and I have something which feels a little bit more realistic. The mad conspiracy theory is that they see the arts as a little breeding ground for socialists and want us all just to fuck off abroad. Sorry for swearing. The second one, which is less like a conspiracy, is it's an opportunity for Amazon, for Virgin, for all those people to come in and buy up the properties, to buy up the rights, and to make a lot of money. It's £32 billion. It's not a snip. It's a lot of money. The UK film industry is the hub of the global cinema. All big, massive films are filmed here because we give them decent tax breaks. That's a massive chunk of that, and it will go to the wall. So I kind of tweeted this, and it's like the government are not gonna save it. So I think it's up to the industry to save it. And I think you've touched on it a little bit when we talked a little bit about Ian McKellen, and this isn't a dig at Ian McKellen at all. He just reminded me of something. There's a lot of people who are at the top of this business, who have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds in the bank. Andrew Lloyd Webber. And they may tweet.
Yeah, he's not the only one. He's not the only one.
He's the one that comes to mind because he's a bit of a Tory as well. But they may tweet how sad every time one of these theatres goes to the wall or has to do these redundancies, but they're not doing a thing. Action speaks louder than a tweet, and we're not seeing action from those people, and it shouldn't be on their shoulders. It should not be on their shoulders, but we're in a position where it's going to have to fall on their shoulders, otherwise this entire industry is going to go.
I'd go slightly further than that. I'd say it should be on their shoulders. I think there are a load of people. There is a lot of money in commercial theatre. Somebody, as it's over the years, has made an absolute killing. We know loads of people have. So unfortunately, it should fall on their shoulders. Absolutely, they've been made very wealthy, working hard. Most of them, most likely, but they've been made very wealthy, and they should be putting their hands in their pockets.
And I don't think it's a case of kind of picking one of them out and saying, well, I'll donate £1 million to this theatre, to this company. I don't think it should be that. I think as an industry it needs to come together and have there should be an independent finance body which takes this money and distributes it fairly throughout the land.
Well, supposedly there is. It's called the Arts Council.
But that's the thing. I don't. But they take the money from the government, and and the lottery funding and all that kind of stuff. I mean, specifically in this crisis, there needs to be an independent thing that goes, "Hello, Mr. Lloyd Webber. Could we have 1% of your interest payments, please? And can we save this massive industry?"
Okay, look, I know that our guests are dying to get in on this conversation, so I'm going to bring them in. We are very, very lucky to have with us Amy Cunningham, who is artistic lead of Dark Horse Theatre, and actor, writer, producer, Tom Stocks. How are we doing, guys?
Good. Yeah, good. Thank you.
Excellent. Do either of you want to come in on any of that?
Well, I mean, I did a tweet last week, didn't I, about Ian McKellen and all that, and I don't know. It is a weird one, and I do get that people like Ian McKellen are going to get more people back into theatre because of his name, and that's what theatres do need. But he doesn't need to be playing. He doesn't need to be playing the main role. He could be quite easily the father, or whatever. And he's played that role a million times before. And I get age blind, and I'm completely agree with it that over a certain amount of age, you do get cast in very similar roles, and I get it, and I applaud them for doing that. However, now's not the time to be experimental. Now is not the time to do those sort of things. Now's the time to start promoting more and more diversity and things like that. Not just some old white guy. Do you know what I mean? And Ian McKellen is brilliant, and I love him, and he's donated to Actor Awareness before. Like, he's amazing, but now's not the time to be doing that sort of shit.
Amy?
Yeah, I just think you've got the wrong people talking it up on the news and everything, haven't you? You've got Helen Mirren, you've got Judi Dench, and you're like, yeah, they're great, but they ain't. That's not. I'm not identifying with you, and people I know who are not arty people, they don't identify with them. It's like, oh, it's Helen Mirren. I'm not going to donate to support Helen Mirren because she's rich.
Exactly. I know.
Like, why have we got
I know.
And we've got them because people like to watch them, but they're not going to convince someone to give them money.
It was like the Alan Bennett Talking Heads thing that it was the BBC, wasn't it? I think the BBC have just done, and you just think, come on. I mean, just come on.
Yeah.
I've not watched it, and that's a bag of shit as well.
Well, yeah, because you do. I mean, I've not watched it. I love them. I love I love Alan Bennett, and
But that's done a million times as well.
Yeah. No,
let's knock out the vagina monologues while we're at
it. Well, yeah. Well, you say that. I mean, I was having a chat with Rachel, my wife, as we were walking the dog this morning, and Rachel said, "You're going to get," because I did the full Monty tour. Could be last year now, 18 months ago, and that'll be something that'll go back out. I'm sure it will. I won't necessarily be in it, but because you get it, because as soon as commercial theatre they open, they will want things in that will get people in, like you say. But come on. We've got to start thinking just bigger than this, or better. Not even bigger. It's not about bigger. It's about better. We've got to start doing things better. Listen, while we're on it, Tom, can I stick with you? Actor Awareness. Just tell us a little bit about that.
So we fight for equality, diversity, and working class talent in the arts. We've been going 5-6 years now, and yeah, we're doing all right. Basically.
Good. Because you made a film, didn't you?
We did, yeah. I made a film with Inside Film. They did it. We did a documentary a couple of years ago, all about working class talent in the arts, and Maxine Peake was in it, Christopher Eccleston, Julie Hesman Howe, big northern powerhouses as well. we just made a film about, you know, what's wrong with the industry in terms of supporting working class talent, and them coming out and speaking about they wouldn't be able to come into the industry now if that, you know, because they're all from working class backgrounds. They said they would struggle to get into the industry now. So yeah, we did that, and Inside Film were hugely instrumental in doing that as well. And they made and produced the film and stuff. And that took about 2-3 years to make that. But yeah, it was good.
Great. And what's as far as actor awareness is concerned, what's next?
Well, we've been doing. I mean, it was a weird one because at the beginning of lockdown, I actually had coronavirus.
Oh, right, okay.
So I was a bit, and then after that, I was a bit down in the dumps. I think everything was just so negative, and I was getting a bit down myself, and I was like, oh, you know, everything was getting called off for the next year. So what we did, we just thought, fuck it, we'll do our own stuff. So we started setting up Zoom Q&As with working class people in the industry to give advice. So we started off with Ben Cogan, who's a casting director. Then we did Rebecca Papworth, who's big in comedy and sitcoms. Then we started getting the big guns in. Shay Meadows came on, Vicky McClure came on,
Brilliant.
Nikki Salt, Danny Brocklehurst. They all just came on Zoom with me, and we, you know, we were getting like 300 people on Zoom, and it was just a chat, and it was just to, you know, just talking about their careers and their advice they have for you know, up and coming emerging artists in the industry, and it was just really cool, and it was just a nice chat. I'm thinking about doing it again, but more for fundraising for the industry, because I really didn't expect to get that much of a response, but we got an amazing response. So I'm thinking of doing it again, but maybe charging like a $5 and donating it to like local theatres and stuff like that. And we've been doing because we run scratch nights as well, like new writing nights. So we've been doing that as well, but just online. So we've been getting people to do that. So we've been quite busy, really. We've been trying to keep ourselves busy.
Sounds like it. I've been doing nothing other than this.
No. See, I think that's the worst thing you can do in this lockdown is compare yourself to other people. And I think people need to stop doing that, because I was doing that at the beginning, and I was like, oh, fucking hell, my mate's just written 7 scripts. And I'm like, oh, I should be doing something. I mean, yeah, it did inspire me to get off my arse and do something, but also you shouldn't be comparing yourself, because, you know, it doesn't matter if you sat there on your arse doing fuck all, because at the moment there's nothing to do anyway, because the industry's shut down. So there's nothing to do. So, you know.
Yeah. No, we've said this a few times about it's nice that you're at a time where, certainly as an actor, you're not blaming yourself for not working. You know, it's not your fault. You're not sat there going, why haven't I had an audition? Why haven't I had any meetings? Why are scripts not coming through? Why is this blah 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 blah? Yeah, I think that's really nice, and it's been quite refreshing. Although I'm ready for it to finish. Good. And have you moved back north yet?
I'm in the process of moving back north.
Okay.
Probably by the end of July, I'm back to my home roots in Manchester. So after 7 long years in London, I'm finally fucking it off and going right. I'm going back home.
Yes. The only problem is there's loads of you doing it. I wish you'd all just stay down.
Well, unfortunately, housing prices are cheaper in Manchester. So.
Yeah, well, that's true. That is true. Amy, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Tom just reminded me of right at the beginning of lockdown, which feels like 3 million years ago now, doesn't it? Well, I don't know about you guys, but it does feel like
it does.
That.
Spending like the majority of my time each week with Lee, it feels.
100 days today.
Really?
100 days. Wow.
Yeah, and it just feels like 1 million years ago. But I remember at the beginning being really, really fucked off. Actually, like how much you were so needed to compare yourself, like you were just saying, that comparisonitis just went like boom, and everyone on Twitter's like, I'm putting this online, and it was amazing, but you were like, oh my god, I need to put something online, I need to make a myself.
I need to do a monologue. I don't
even do that anyway for a job, and I was like, oh my god, I need to record myself doing something, like why? So it was just all that, and I think as well, like just to go off on a tangent, just this whole lockdown, like the social policing is just atrocious. Do you know? I mean, I tell my boyfriend off. He'll say like, "Oh, I bet they don't live together." I'm like, "Well, you don't know, do you?" So, you know, and
that seems like an awfully big family.
Yeah, he goes every time, you know. And I see what he's saying. You know, there is a reason why the rules are there, but also I just can't do with the social policing.
Yeah.
Especially as on that beach on Bournemouth, was it Bournemouth? The beach.
Yeah.
There's a newsreader stood in front of it like, oh, it's really bad, isn't it? It's really bad what's happening. Isn't it really bad? And she took it to someone at the council and she was like, well, I mean, people are 2 meters apart, so they're not really breaking any rules. She was like, yeah, but tell us about the problems. And she was like, the parking is difficult because the restaurants are shut. And the woman was like, oh, but it's terrible. And she was like, not really. They're all following the rules. I don't really know what the problem is. But all over Facebook, you know, people are kicking off like, so selfish. And you're like, oh, God.
Yeah, give it a break.
You do you. Shut up.
All the
Exactly. You do you. You do you. Good. Two things, Amy.
Yes.
Could you tilt your camera up just a little bit?
Yes.
That's it. That's better. And the second thing is, so Dark Horse. Obviously, I know about Dark Horse, but our viewers won't. So tell us a little bit about Dark Horse and what you do, and that wonderful accolade that you got recently.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? I'm probably not very good at telling people about that because we're still very perplexed where it came from. So, Dark Horse are a theatre company and we train and make work with actors who have learning disabilities. And obviously that becomes far more tricky when you cannot go into a room, which you will all understand, with each other. But we were very aware. I mean, we were ready for that lockdown 2 weeks before, you know. You were watching the government do it and you were like, this is going to happen, so just give us the go ahead. And we had sort of a plan in place and everything. And one of our big things was, well, we literally can't just shut our doors and say no more, because people with learning disabilities are at such a risk of becoming isolated, like, you know, even more so than other people, because everybody is at risk of becoming isolated.
Yeah.
But people with learning disabilities even more so. So we were very determined that we were like, well, we have to offer something. So we've been doing actor training online, which, you know, we planned for it to be sustainable, and so far it has been. Nobody's dropped off yet, so still speak to every single person every week, still get the views on YouTube, so it's going well. But yeah, recently we got a certificate from the Royal Left Lieutenant, thanking us for our efforts during the coronavirus, and we're still, I mean, it's fantastic, but we were like, where did this come from, you know?
It's great.
In the post, like, signed by somebody great, and we were like,
by somebody great. Fantastic.
Spotted up on what that was more than it. We were just a bit like, oh, that's great, okay. We'll thank everybody for their half an efforts, which is why you know about it. Obviously.
Yeah. Don't know what it is, but it sounds great.
Yeah.
No, it's really, really good. And of course, one of the acting students we were talking to Steph Lacey last week, who was in Oliver.
Yeah.
And of course, one of the students was in Oliver.
Rebecca was in Oliver Twist. And I don't know, did anybody go and see it? Did you see it?
Didn't get to see it. I didn't get to see it, unfortunately. No.
It was incredible. It's probably one of the best pieces of theatre I've ever seen. And I'm not just saying that because Rebecca's in it and I did a little bit of training with her, you know. But no, it was honestly so brilliant. And I was in rehearsals as well, and it was just the way it was made. It was just so authentic. It came from everybody, and the accessibility was just so. It wasn't inclusion. It was a piece of theatre made by people, and
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because often it can feel like it's inclusion rather than, you know, an ensemble of people creatively working together.
Yeah,
and that was certainly the impression when we were talking to Steph about it. That she.
I would say it's something which I remember. Was it just last week where Steph was on, or was it the week before? But I remember that was like a big talking point, and everybody was like, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, gutted I missed it.
And so pleased for Rebecca, because she's great.
Yeah, you know, she was brilliant. She really held her own as well. You know, she really threw herself into the rehearsal. She's fab.
Excellent. So listen, let's get on to the important stuff. I need a song. I'd like to stick with you, Amy. I'd like a song for our isolation playlist, please.
Okay, so I'm nothing if not on brand. Mine is a singer called Lizzie Emme. I think that's how you say it, Emme. And she was the first solo artist with a learning disability to release an album of original songs in the UK. Only found this out recently.
Okay, Lizzie Emme.
Emeh.
Emme. Okay.
And the song I like is called Love and Understanding.
Excellent. I usually sort of say why that song, but it's quite obvious.
I've been reading a book. Oh my god, can't remember what the book's called. But anyway, it's about it's a lot of learning disabled people's stories. So like Sarah Gordy's written a story, and one of the stories was her. And I was reading it. I was like, why don't I know who this person? I've never heard of this person. And I went on Spotify and I was like, she's great. She's regular on my playlist now.
Excellent. Well, she's certainly going straight onto ours, and I'll be listening to that while I'm editing tomorrow. So that's good. Tom, what have you got for us?
Oh, I feel like mine's not even deep now.
It doesn't have to be.
I feel like a really good one. Mine's just shit.
Listen, we had Tom Lorcan on, and he picked the Pina Colada song. So don't worry about it.
Nice. Well, I mean, as I'm moving back to Manchester, I've been rewatching all the Manchester classics recently. So Shameless, been rewatching that. Yeah. Royal Family, all that. So either the Shameless theme song or obviously the Royal Family theme song, which is Half the World Away by Oasis.
Can I go for Half the World Away? Because it's the first song that I learned to play on the guitar.
Of course you can.
Half the World Away. Excellent. Yeah. I love a little bit of Oasis. Some of these
they're my favourite.
I love a little bit of Oasis.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, great choices. Excellent. Okay. So, sticking with you, Tom, what is the most coronavirus thing you've done?
Well, I had it.
So both
corona that. I had it.
Both you and Mike had it.
Yeah.
Mike had it as
well.
well.
You had it as well.
Yeah, I got my test certificate framed and everything.
Oh, there you go. You see, I didn't actually go to the hospital with it because apparently I could string a sentence together, so I didn't have to go to hospital. That was really good.
Oh, okay. And what happened? What did you? Were you proper polar?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm in London, so when just before the lockdown, I was still working, so I was on tubes every day and stuff like that. And I didn't have a mask, I didn't have gloves or anything like that because they're all sold out. And also, I was a bit like, oh, well, I'll be all right. opening tubes with like my sleeve and stuff like that. And it's just like, it just doesn't work, does it? But yeah, and then I was still working and I just worked from home. Then I started getting like body aches. And I was like, oh, maybe it's like this new office chair that I'm sat in. Then I started coming down, and then by Thursday, I was literally on this sofa, and I just couldn't move. I had 5 naps in about 4 hours, and I was like, I don't feel good here. And then by the weekend, I was just out for the count. I couldn't move. It was horrible. I had breathing troubles, and I kept ringing the hospital, and they were like, no, you can still speak, so you don't have to come in. And I'm just like, what? So yeah, I mean, the best way to describe coronavirus is it's like having a hangover with the flu after doing a full body workout. Is the best way to describe it.
That's pretty spot on. Yeah, I would.
Yeah. Because the funny thing is, when you said 4 naps, because that's just standard in lockdown now, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
But
this is yeah. But I don't know, I just felt, and I lost my. This was before it was even a symptom, so I was like one of the creators that I lost my taste and smell before it was even a thing. And yeah, it was horrible. It was the worst I've ever felt. And yeah, when the breathing troubles came in, that's why I knew I was in big trouble. But I'm all right now. So there we go. I'm a survivor. I mark myself safe on Facebook.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, that'll do then. You can have that. Anything else?
Not really. I mean, I've just been. I haven't worn jeans in 4 months.
Oh, do you know what? It'll kill you when you put them back on.
I'm not going. I'm refusing.
I put some back on. Was it 2 weeks ago? And it was honestly, I thought I'd have to be stitched into them. I just thought this is, because jeans are tight now anyway. They always have been, but I'm just used to wearing shorts or joggers and just lounging about.
See, I've worn jeans every single day.
Have you?
Yeah. I just don't get. Everybody's going, oh, I've not worn jeans. I'm like,
yeah, but come on. Jeans are a bit, you want to sit in your comfies, don't you? Jeans are a bit uncomfortable.
I don't know. I've lived in jeans since I was about 6, so they are really. I'm probably like Stockholm syndrome for denim.
You can't nap in denim though, can you?
Oh, yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I can do it all. It's fine.
Yeah, get some comfortable.
You're not buying the right jeans. You need to buy some Levi's.
Do you know what? It's funny you should say
Oh,
that.
what Levi's Primark?
Yeah, exactly. Although there is a
£6 a pot, the £9 a Primark.
Costco, mate, they're about 25 quid.
there's a Levi outlet near me, and I'm going to go down because I think they're doing 3 pairs for 100 quid, which sounds lavish. I know it sounds lavish. I know, but I think I'm going to treat myself. Anyway,
you in for a week?
Amy, most coronavirus thing you've done?
Sorry, I'm just having a weird moment because my boyfriend's called Mike as well, and he lives in his Levi jeans. And we have always gone on and on about how we're like, how do you relax in jeans? What are you doing? Go and put your jammies on or something. Yeah. My friends come around, are like, what is he doing in his jeans again? Like, he's just constantly.
Must be a Mike thing.
Yeah.
He's built to live in Levi's.
Looking at you like, oh my God, crazy. Anyway. Me and coronavirus. So I haven't had it. So you should have started with me really, because Tom's just completely tipped the bar, hasn't he?
You smashed me on the songs. It's all right.
Yeah, that's one
that was feedback, wasn't it? I tried too hard with that one.
Are we keeping scores now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do it. Let's keep scores.
So I cut my boyfriend's hair with kitchen scissors. That was pretty coronavirus.
Was that because he wouldn't take his jeans off?
Exactly. No, it was because
his kitchen scissors.
Yeah, because his hair was growing really, really long. Like it grows at quite a rate, and then so he'd been tying up. He'd been doing a bit of a top knot situation.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. So this bit was getting like really long, like this bit, because it needed to be short back and sides, didn't it, to work really. But he couldn't fit that bit in the ponytail. So I was like, look, right, we're going to have to do something because I have to see you every day, even if no one else does, and you look ridiculous. And he was like, well, I said, have you got any clippers or anything? And he was like, oh, only the ones that do my beard with, which won't really go through hair that well. So I was like, oh, we'll just use kitchen scissors, it's fine. And he literally looked like, it's not too bad now because, like I said, his hair grows fast, but it was just like a lampshade, like, like I'd done balls, and actually, I was going to cut the top, and then I was doing it. It took me about 10 minutes, and he was like, Amy, this usually takes an hour. So I think you've done this a bit too fast. And I was like, it don't look good. I'm not going to lie. And he was like, right, don't do the top. So now he's got short back and side fringing, and I got ponytail. So yeah, so that was coronavirus. We also played a game of Trivial Pursuit before 9 a.m. one day.
Before that, presumably you'd been up all night.
No, we got up and was like, oh, what are we gonna do today?
First of all, why are you getting up before 9?
What's the reason to stay up late? Like, nowhere to go.
Alcohol. That's the reason for staying up late.
You can have a Bucks Fizz with breakfast. It's fine.
Yeah, especially if you've got nothing to do. Fair enough. Did he get to cut your hair as well, or was?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
He did offer. He said, I could cut your hair now, and I was like, don't be ridiculous.
Don't think so. Not after I've done that to you. No chance. No chance. Okay, fair enough. Amy, what was the last thing you said or directed to a live audience?
So, at Dark Horse, we did the thing called the 2.6 challenge. You might have seen it knocking about. And yeah, so we put a bit of time into that, and we got all our actors and students. We said to them, you do a 2.6 challenge as well. And my mum decided it would be a really good idea. I don't know. My mum does this thing where she suggests things, and she makes it sound to me like she's a very good mum. She makes me feel like I can do anything, So she was like, I know what you should do. You should do a 26-minute concert on your front lawn. And I was like, oh, okay. And then she made me feel like this was a really good idea. And then it got to a couple of days before, and I was like, I'm absolutely not going to do that. I don't know why I agreed to do that. I don't know any of my neighbours.
A concert of what? Of songs?
I sing, so yeah. It was a singing thing.
Yeah.
And then, so what I did eventually was I persuaded Mike, my boyfriend, because he plays guitar privately. He doesn't play in front of audiences, but I persuaded him to learn some songs on guitar, and we played a 26-minute lockdown concert on Facebook Live.
Oh, okay, so you didn't do your front lawn?
No, we did do it on Facebook Live though, so there were people watching, but there were people I knew, which made it a little bit Me stood on my front lawn singing to nobody. But yeah, that went quite well. We replaced a lot of lyrics, so it was lockdown themed. So we instead of Valerie, we did Chris Whitty.
Okay, nice.
So yeah, that was fun.
Okay, is it still available to watch?
Yeah, it would be if you scroll down on my Facebook. I'm sure you can get that.
I'm gonna have a little laugh at that later. Yep. Yeah, good. Okay, all right. So that was the last thing that you did. What were some of the things that the students did?
Well, Toby cycled 26 kilometres on an indoor bike.
Okay.
Paul, what did Paul do? Paul used to be a weightlifter in the Special Olympics. So he lifted his own body weight 26 seconds, I think it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, that was pretty good. One of the students, Furiel, she did 26. She did the alphabet. She did an activity because there's 26 letters in the alphabet, isn't there?
Nice.
So she did an activity for every letter of the alphabet, and she made a really cool video, like showing you all the letters that she'd done. So that was really cool. Some Alice and Rebecca danced for 26 minutes. I think Alice danced only to Proud Mary by Tina Turner.
Fair enough. Yeah.
That was almost my addition to your lockdown playlist, actually. Yeah. She when she told me, I was like, oh, cool, you're going to dance for 26 minutes. And then she said, yes, but only to Tina Turner. And I was
it is about 7 minutes long, that track, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think.
It's played a few times.
Great. No, that's really good.
There were loads of great stuff.
Brilliant. Okay. Tom, what was the last?
Well, after we've been doing the Zooms, so that was like, if that class is live, we've been doing that for Actor Awareness. But literally 2 weeks before lockdown, I finished, I wrote a show called Netflix and Chill, and I was in it as well, which was at the Drayton Arms. And we managed to complete the run, and it was like 2 weeks after was lockdown, so we were very lucky that we've been able to obviously do some theatre this year, which has been good.
Yeah. What was the last line you said?
Well, what was the last line?
Hang on, you wrote it.
I know I wrote it, but the last line I said was it Ryan? I think it was just Ryan, because basically what happens at the end, spoiler alert, the guy dies. So
okay, great, brilliant. He dies.
Yeah, he dies. Yeah. Dies of an overdose. Oh well.
Okay. Oh well. Yeah.
Everybody dies. It's fine. It's all relative.
Yeah, exactly. But it wasn't a comedy, by the way. It was a comedy.
Yeah, no,
sounds it. Yeah, dies of an overdose. Pissing me, son.
Yeah, it's
funny up until that point.
It's good that you got you just finished it. I managed to just finish your show as well, and just in the last week we were going, oh, they're going to shut everything down. They're going to shut everything down, and we managed to get through it, which is good. I know a lot of people who were on really big tours actually, and got had work for another 7 months, and suddenly it's just all gone, and that's a nightmare. I don't know.
Can you imagine just landing your dream job and then you all getting this?
A friend of mine who came on, Tina, she was in the Seagull, and that was her dream job really, and yeah, that got cut short as well, so she was gutted about that. But
and I think a lot of people are living a bit, and I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but I think a lot of people are living in false hope that they think they're going to go back into those shows. They're not going to go back into those shows.
Unlikely. It's unlikely.
It's going to be 25 tours of Greece with Peter Andre.
I love a bit of Greece.
Hey! Yeah, but Peter Andre.
And I'll tell you what, Mysterious Girl's a banger, so...
Do you think he gets that put in? Because I think he plays the angel, doesn't he? And does he think he does that instead?
He'll do the malt shop song, won't he? He does that, doesn't he?
I don't know what it's called, Lee.
A teenage ne'er-do-well.
I know the song, I just don't know.
But
Is that what it's
Mysterious
called?
Girl in there instead.
Teen Angel? Are you talking about Grease characters?
Yeah.
Oh, this is where my expertise comes in.
Yeah, it was on TV the other night. We watched it. It's so good. What I was impressed of as well, because we've got a new telly. We had to buy a new telly because Rachel burnt it with a candle. She put a candle on the thing underneath the television, and it just started melting. Anyway, so
I need a new telly. I might do that.
This television, a lot of stuff on it, because modern tellies, they're like 4K and all that sort of stuff. A lot of the stuff looks shit, but I'll tell you what didn't look shit: Grease. And I was sat there looking at it, going, how is that possible? It's older than me. How is it possible that this looks so good on this telly when loads of stuff looks shite? But it's great.
Controversial opinion. I think Grease 2 is better than Grease.
No, it's not.
Oh,
No, it's not.
out.
I really do.
Grease 2 is a really decent film.
It's ace.
I'm not saying it isn't decent. I like it, but you never see it anymore because of the rape scene.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. All I can think is Cool Rider. That's all I can think.
Yeah, I want to say Cool Rider is immense.
Let's do it for our country, the red, white, and the blue. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it for our country. Our country wants us to. And then he tricks her in a bunker, doesn't he, into thinking. Yeah.
Oh my God, I can watch this film again.
Yeah, I think that's why you don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
It's not a great scene, that.
I mean, it's Shooter McGavin, isn't it, from Happy Gilmore? He's the guy who does that. Yeah.
Anyway, no idea where we are now. It's got lost on Greece. I do like Greece. When I was younger, we went to Salou in southern Spain on a coach. And I remember I was only about 7. It must have taken 4 days to get there. And I was about 7. And I remember them playing Grease back to back. And I was just stood on the seat, just singing all the songs. I love Grease. It's great. Anyway, what have we got? Right. Okay. Favourite moment. I'll stay with you, Amy. Favourite.
Turn a light on. Is it really dark in this room?
You're all right for like the next minute. I reckon it'll get darker though.
I'll turn the light on.
How vain is she? Exactly.
That's nice. That's a nice picture behind you.
Where, that one?
Yeah, that's quite nice. I like that. What is it? The thing in Greece?
Yeah, it says en Greke. So
is that in Greek?
I don't know. One of the.
Did it come with a house? Is that why you don't?
One of my friends, they threw me a Greece themed party. Which essentially was just us eating, some tzatziki, I guess. But they did put up some flags and print off this picture from the internet. And then when we came to, like when you're trying to make house, but you haven't got any money. So we were like, look at this nice printed out picture the girls did. Let's frame it with an IKEA frame. And that's, where we got to.
I know that feeling because I'm contemplating framing some packaging I got from FC St. Pauli because I just think it looks cool. And I've got space.
It is quite cool.
I frame cards all the time. Everything on my wall is just birthday cards that I framed.
Birthday card.
This one's great. It says, "Be yourself. Everyone else is awful." Can you see that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that's good.
What great. That's a birthday card. Framed it. IKEA frame.
I like that.
See, that's my unpopular opinion. I think birthday cards are just a bag of shit.
I don't like wasting them. That's why I frame them now.
No, that's good. No, well done. That's a really good way. But I hate people getting me birthday cards because one, I never put them up around the flat. What's the point? And they just go in the bin. What's the point?
See, we have a process.
Put them in the bin.
Well, I shake it.
Process.
I shake it first to see if there's any money in it. Then it goes in the bin.
But the process in ours is you get your birthday cards. They go up on the mantelpiece. Or if you're my wife, the wider shelves in the room. For me, it's just like 4 cards. For 7 days exactly. And then the cards from my wife get kept. And now my daughter get kept. Everything else goes in the bin. I get no choice. So if somebody sends me a really cool card, nope, bin. I'm only allowed to keep cards from my wife and now daughter. And the 7 days exactly.
Yeah. Well, welcome to
come on, we know the birthday cards are just 89p from Cards Galore, and there's no effort in whatsoever, is there? There's no effort.
I mean, there's even less now with like Funky Pigeon, where people just scroll on an app and go that one, and they don't even write it.
Actually, there's more effort now because at least people personalise it with a picture of you.
Yeah, but it's usually your profile picture off Facebook, innit? Then you just got that one.
Yeah. Or the headshot from 12 years ago that you don't use anymore.
My Twitter still uses mine.
I disagree slightly. I like to pick a nice card. I'm not bothered about receiving them, but I do like to pick a nice card that's got nice words in it that means something.
I was just going to say, do you read the inside as well?
Yeah, of course I read the inside. Because I don't want to send... Because if I sent something, to somebody that was sort of like, what a wonderful friendship we have and blah 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 blah. They'll know that's bollocks. So I can't send something like that. I've got to make sure that the words actually represent.
I usually just assume, like, if it's Happy Birthday Grandad, for example, that inside it says something about Happy Birthday Grandad. It's not going to say, like, congratulations on coming out.
Well, it might do. You never know. It might do. I have no idea where we are now. Was it favourite moment? That's what we were
That's
on?
what I don't know who was answering.
My unpopular opinion.
Amy, favourite moment. Now that you're properly lit.
So I when I read this one, I was like, that's one of those questions where you're like, I need a really good one, but because everything's a competition, isn't it? Yeah, I was thinking about my favorite thing is like always my best moments are collaborating with people. So when we were making a show before lockdown, like most people were, and I was working with a movement director, and he's called Billy, and he's got much more experience than I have, and he was one of the founding members of Phoenix Dance.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Big contemporary dancer. And he was the movement director, and he came in sort of half a day a week out of the 2 days that we rehearsed that show with the students. And for that half day, we would sort of just like, do you know those moments where you have ideas in your head and someone just goes and just does it, and you're like, that is exactly
that's it. Yeah.
That plus a million, was what I was going for. And like, that's my, they're always, I think in the future, I think it will always be my best industry moments will be collaborating with people who are better than me. That's always a thing. It's like, I really don't mind being the least talented person in the room. If everyone's, doing, I often am, our actors are so talented, like a lot of them far older than I am, far more expertise in the arts industry than I have. Always collaborating, but with Billy was a really good one. Yeah.
Fantastic. I've built a career of not being the most artistic person in the room or talented person in the room. It's fine. It's good.
It's so much less pressure, isn't it? If you just have me.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody once told me the job of a director is to say yes or no to other people's ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So you always surround yourself with talented people, you're going to say yes quite a lot.
Yeah.
And you're going to look great.
Yeah. Fair enough. Tom, what you got for us?
So I mean, I got one, and it should be about acting really, but it's not. It's like producing. So when I first did Actor Awareness, I just got friends and stuff like that to hold. I support #Actor Awareness and post it online, and then it's sort of like spiraled from there. Then out of the blue, Boise from Only Fools and Horses only whacks one up and
Brilliant.
goes, I support Actor Awareness, and then so that was good. And then from that, This Is England 90 was also filming at that time, so the whole cast of This Is England 90 said I support Actor Awareness with their little picture, and I made it in my local paper.
Boom!
Yeah, and then from there, it was really funny because then I had like a 2-page spread in the Guardian about working class actors, and I had my face in the Guardian's little 2-page spread. Like,
yeah.
It was very nice.
That's certainly when I became aware of it, reading that article in the Guardian.
Oh, well, there we go then. There we go. I mean, it's starting a company from scratch is always a tough, and I still haven't really got a company. It's just a movement, I guess. But it was just good to know loads of people were behind it, and I suppose it comes back to the Ian McKellen thing in some ways, is that you need big names to help get your cause out there. Yeah. And funnily enough, Ian McKellen was actually one of those people. I remember I needed some money to build a website, and I didn't know how to do Arts Council forms. I still don't. I don't know how to gather funding. But I knew Ian McKellen. He's from Wigan, working class lad. I know he's really big on charity, which is amazing. And I knew he was going to be this equity branch opening in Oxford. And I
just doorstepped him.
Yeah, literally.
Brilliant.
He was there. He was doing his spiel, blah blah blah. And as soon as he came out, everyone mobbed him. So I was like, oh fuck this, I've got no chance. So I went outside for a fag, and 2 minutes later, Ian McKellen pops out and was like, I'm fed up of this. And I was like, and he was there, and I was like, Ian, I'm so sorry about this, but I had a handwritten letter in my pocket. And I was like, on the off chance that I was meeting you, I just really wanted to give you this. I said, I don't want anything more. Give me a selfie and I'll be on my way. And he did it. And literally the next day, £1,000 was in my bank account, and he fucking did it. What a legend!
Brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there we go.
I take it all back. Play Hamlet. You go for your life, mate. You go for your.
Yeah.
Sorry, Amy. What? I
That
cut
was
you off
meant
then.
to happen, wasn't it? Right place, right time.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, and also a lot of stalking, but
Yeah.
that's okay.
It's also one of those. It's one of those stories where people go bullshit.
Yeah. Get away.
No, he did. He came out
Like,
and he was having a fight. No bullshit.
If you
well,
wrote that,
I do have the selfie to prove it.
Yeah.
but that's the thing. If you wrote that and put it on stage or on screen, the audience would just go, "Yeah."
No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You just can't make it up, can you?
No,
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. So, last serious question for you both. I'll stick with you, Tom. What are your I'm going to stay clear of the fears. We're going to say because we've talked a little bit about that, I think. What are your hopes for the industry coming out of lockdown and moving forwards?
I know it won't happen, but I'm really hoping that this industry does change and it changes for the better in terms of diversity, in terms of giving new talent the opportunity. And I really do hope that, and I hope that our cause of actor awareness will help do that as well. And I just think it's time now that we should be making those changes. And I feel that if we don't, this industry is going to be lost forever. And I do think theatre is just going to be a permanent middle class playground, and that is it. The door on working class, on diversity in general, will be closed forever, because the theatres are in such financial ruin. They have to get the Ian McKellens in. They have to get the Judi Denches in to survive, unfortunately, because also the social distancing and the houses are going to be half full. So they have to try and get the people in. And unfortunately, I just think there's a lot of hope out there that people think that diversity is going to improve. And I really think it's going to go in the opposite direction. And I think the only chances for the working classes and diversity is going to be in TV and film. That's where that, and I think that's always been the case, really. But I just think more and more opportunities will now be given more in TV, film, and whatever. And I do think you'll see a massive divide in class and diversity, which is unfortunate, really. But I just there's nothing that I've seen over lockdown that has given me any sort of hope that goes, oh, we're going to, no one's made a statement to go, oh, we're going to be diverse now, blah, blah, blah. And the Black Lives Matter movement has been incredible. And I do think that's going to make change. But I do think it's in terms of theatre, it's just going to be a permanent middle class playground. And I can't see more opportunities are really going to change in terms of that.
I think, I think you're probably right. It's certainly about larger production theatre. So I think that if regional theatre survives, I think there will be the smaller regional theatre, which I think it will, because it's so heavily funded. So as long as the funding continues, I think that will be okay. But those opportunities to work at the national or the bigger theatres, I think will become incomingly difficult. I think
local theatres and fringe theatres have always been good in giving opportunities to local talent, and that won't change.
Yeah.
But the big productions like West End, it will. I just can't see it. All that will happen is they'll just go in ensemble. That's all that will happen.
Yeah.
They won't get big main parts.
No. Interesting. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and he was saying about, he does a lot of pitching to television especially, and he was saying that his opinion was that your Channel 4s and your ITVs and even BBC are just struggling. They're struggling big time, especially you Channel 4s are relying on advertising because everything's gone. And so if that is true, I don't know whether that is true or not, but if that is true, then obviously what is going to happen to those is that they're going to be making things like the BBC have done with the Talking Heads, and just think, right, who can we get in to do this? Which big celebrity, so that it's the same principle. Whereas he was saying that Netflix and Amazon and Apple and those, it's completely the opposite. They're happy to just take risks and just do stuff.
They're just doubling down on indies and Yeah, looks like it's the place to go.
Yeah, interesting. Amy.
Well, that was quite a hopeful spiel from Tom there, obviously. But yeah, that's the mood, isn't it? It's like everybody's like, "Come on, we've had this thinking time, and we've had this lull, and if not now, then when?" And it's exactly what Tom said. It's like, we were all sat here going, "This could be it," but secretly thinking it's not going to be it, And it's because it's really hard and it'll be messy, like, to do it. I'm not saying that means they shouldn't do it, but it's the fact that everybody who runs the big top MPOs are Oxbridge and Cambridge alumni, and they're all really, really, really rich, and they run the world. And unless you change that at the top, that we can do as much as we want, can't we? With our Black Lives Matter and with hashtag We Shall Not Be Removed and everything else, and Tom's great work that he's doing, we can do all of that. But if nothing changes at the top, then it's not looking hopeful, is it? But yeah, I would like there to be less. To answer your question, less alumni at the top would be great, and better distribution of the funding would be wonderful, because we say that we've done diversity's been done and all that, but it's a drop in the ocean. It's nothing.
Tokenism at best.
Your top MPOs share 250 million, and they give Ramps on the Moon got 2 million. It's nothing. It's not anything, is it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I think as well? Everyone got in uproar about the 5-step guideline and all that, and everyone got up in arms. Why are you up in arms about it? They've never done anything for the arts before. Why did you expect them to do something for the arts now? Like, that's what really annoys me. Everyone's like, "Oh, theatres are going to die," blah blah blah. Well, yeah, I don't know what you expected. Like, the government were never ever going to fund the arts.
They've got history. They did a similar thing in the 80s.
People think they're going to do it now. They're not. And everyone's like, oh, they've opened, and comparing it to football and all that sort of stuff. I just don't know what you expected it to happen, and hope it, and it's amazing that you all have this hope and it's all getting up in arms. But stop moaning about it and just fucking do something about it. Do you know what I mean? And it's all good being a keyboard warrior and all that sort of stuff, but actually just get off your arse and just do something and stop fucking blaming the government, because the government have never been with us anyway. So don't blame them. Start fucking demanding, like you said at the beginning, Andrew Lloyd Webber, Cameron McIntosh, all of them to start pulling their fucking fingers out. They're the people that you should be going at, not Boris Johnson, because I don't give a shit about him anymore.
I don't think
Sorry, I'm just really angry about this.
No, you're absolutely right, and and that also, just going back to what you were saying before, Tom, actually, about what I do think has to happen is that the way that theatre is run generally, and I'm talking about regional theatre, actually, big regional theatre, I think that they're having to look at themselves now and saying, and they're saying to themselves, the way that we're running at the moment isn't working. It's not working. It hasn't been working for years, and we have to do something different. I don't know what that is. I've absolutely no clue, and I don't envy the people that have to do it, but it has to be done, because theatre will die unless they do it. Because if they can't continue to think that 60-plus-year-old white middle-class people will continue going to the theatre to fund them, they're wrong. It's not going to happen. My parents didn't go to the theatre a lot, but they won't be. They essentially went when I was in something or when something really took their fancy, but they won't be going back to the theatre anytime soon. Even if I was in something, I don't think they would go and watch it, because they're scared, like many people are. So from that point of view, the demographic, the regional theatre is screwed, and I guess the national is the same. So I think things have to change, and hopefully it will change for the better. Hopefully.
I mean, I just kind of not wanting to linger too much, because I'm aware we are pushed for time a little bit, but just talking about Black Lives Matter. So very early on, I saw one of the directors from Reddit stand down and say, I no longer want to be a director of Reddit. I want my position to be filled by a black person, by a Hispanic person, by an Indigenous American person. I want there to be some diversity on this board, because right now it's 5 white dudes. And that felt like, when I saw that, I was like, good for him. Do you know, that feels like a massive company like Reddit, to be able to do that and to set an example. And I thought, that's the first domino. Brilliant. And he's the only domino.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
And I think in the arts, I think we've touched on it. It's a very Oxbridge thing at that level, and middle class trust fund people are always going to rise to the top because they have got the opportunity and they've got the available funds to be able to take those unpaid internships and all that kind of stuff. So they are always going to rise to the top. And I think it's going to take somebody with some absolute balls from, you know, mid-tier theatre upwards to go, I'm standing down as creative director of this, that or the other, and to give it to somebody else, and somebody from a working class background, somebody from an Asian background, a black background, whatever, just somebody who isn't white, middle class, and a dude.
No, you're absolutely right. It goes back to what I was saying before, and it's very difficult for people, and I'll say at my level, and I'll say my level in my career, I look at something, and one of the first things I do is look to see how diverse the cast is. But if it isn't, it's very difficult, because I need the money. I need to pay It's very difficult for me to put my head above the parapet, and I hope I will at some point sort of go, hang on, I'm not doing this because of X, Y, and Z. Yeah. But it won't change by me doing that. No. Nothing will change by me doing that.
It needs somebody higher up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I was going to say something else then, but I'll move on.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Right, okay. Well, time's cracking up.
I was just going to say, Lee, actually, do you know, right at the beginning when you asked about the Royal Exchange creative directors, there's 2 of them. One thing I would say, I actually quite like that there's 2 creative directors. They're both completely different people, and I would say that actually you've got 2 perspectives there when it comes to programming, and I feel like you're going to get a more diverse body of work. I mean, the Royal Exchange is pioneering diversity. They do very well, and like they are really, really good, which is why it's such a massive tragedy that they released that statement earlier. But yeah, it just occurred to me then. No,
I'm glad you've clarified that, because it's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting from the point of view of the I guess a layman may look at that and say, well, hang on, you know, why have you got 2 people doing the same job? Now that makes perfect sense. You know, York Theatre Royal, for example, haven't got an artistic director for that exact reason. For the exact reason that they don't want one voice at the moment. They may go back, but they don't want one voice and one vision programming everything.
It's almost too much power, isn't it?
It's almost too much power. Absolutely.
That's the problem. So little people have so much power. That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Okay. Well, time is cracking on. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. So last question from me. Well, last 2 questions, actually. I'll start with you, Tom. During lockdown, what was the maximum number of toilet rolls that you had in the house?
24.
Oh, that's all right. That's a pretty good number.
That's
solid.
Good. Yeah.
Solid.
Well, you get the big packs, don't you? 24. Then that's.
Do you know what? Up until walking into B&Q about 3 weeks ago, I'd never bought a 24 pack before, but there was one there for about £6. I thought, I'm having that.
I've always bought in bulk though, because it just saves you going doing it later down the line. Do you know what I mean? It just lasts longer.
Yeah, saves a job, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You never caught short because you've always got like 30 in.
Shut up! You've always got like 50 in.
Yeah.
Also,
while you're doing the business, it's also a good game to just make little pyramids and stack them.
Yeah, well, that is true. Did you see that? Was it a TikTok video with the dog where she was putting the toilet rolls up to get the dog to jump over them? Anyway,
so you dropped Slay earlier, and now you're watching TikTok. What's going on?
I told you I'm down with the kids. I'm going for a younger demographic, Mike.
Oh yeah, good, good. We need it.
I told you, I'd sort of dropped the idea of being an influencer, but I reckon I could still do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure what I'd be influencing in.
I don't know.
Maybe
an Excel spreadsheet course.
yeah. Just for men beard dye, something like that. I'll go for that. Just for men want to send me some beard dye, I'm happy to take that on.
Desperate for some of that shit.
Yeah. Amy, tell us toilet roll tales.
Well, do you know what? We were not cautious at all about the toilet roll. We were those people sat there like,
Love it.
oh my god, why is everyone buying loads of toilet roll?
Everyone's got a flat.
Because we order from. Have you heard of Who Gives a Crap?
Yeah, well, we have now.
They're shortly going to become our sponsor, the amount of airtime we give them.
Yeah.
Oh really? Does everyone keep talking about it?
Yeah.
We ordered from them, but we went away for a month in August last year, and I didn't tally that in. So we had loads of toilet roll in about January, and I was like, oh my god, we don't need another box for ages. So I put off the next box of toilet roll without remembering that we'd actually not been here for a month. So that's why we didn't. That's why the last box had lasted so long. And then it got to like March, and Mike was like, we don't have any toilet roll, and the shops don't have any toilet roll.
You had none at all. Did you run out completely?
Well, our neighbour had been very vocal about how he had stockpiled the toilet roll.
Yeah.
So we were like, hi, can we have some of that?
And he let you have it. Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Good on
You
him.
just got a dot leaf from the garden.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I want to say, I'm yet to hear of anybody who say just a couple of wet flannels.
Yeah.
Well, you know what annoys me about this toilet roll shortage? Like, I'm sorry, but if you're that desperate, just get in the fucking shower. What you all bothered about?
Yeah.
Just get in the shower.
Yeah. B-day, easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, of course, we've all got a B day, haven't we? Yeah, you know, just
Shower with the B.
Oh, you just shove the shower head up there.
Exactly.
Oh, boxes of tissues, if you've got any of them.
Yeah, exactly.
That tea towel that you don't like.
Yeah.
Okay, sticking with you, Amy. What's your vice being? Bean. What is your vice? Your vice, yeah.
What does that
Over
mean?
lockdown. Vice.
Yeah.
So is it like drinking, baking, eating? Something.
What's been your crutch?
Yeah.
Like what's kept me sane, like what's kept me going.
Yeah.
Probably the dog.
Okay. All right. Anything?
We actually adopted a greyhound about a month before lockdown. And yeah, so that's actually been great because when you at first when you go out, he eats the remote control, so we don't go out now, so he can't do that. So I think he actually does. He has learnt rules quite quickly because
How old was he when you got him?
He's an ex-racer, so he's 4 next week.
Oh, okay. So he's quite old. He'll probably learn not to do that because we our dog just before Christmas, and whenever we went out, if we left the remotes out, he ate them. He ate anything basically. But he's now a year, and I don't think he does that anymore. Although to be fair, we don't really leave him. We don't leave in the house.
So he's got no separation anxiety because there's no separation.
No.
Yeah, well, Bruno lived in a kennel. He slept on a concrete floor, so it's a completely different thing for him.
Bruno,
yeah, that's the name he came with.
I
Although
had a boxer dog called Bruno.
You had a what?
A boxer dog called Bruno.
Oh, really? Do you know what? There's another Bruno on our walk as well. You just hear people shouting Bruno everywhere.
Just make sure Frank don't walk past.
Yeah.
He'll be like, what?
No,
Yeah,
dog.
His
Dog.
name is Kronk Nimona. Someone wants to tell me what that means. I don't know.
Was that his racing name?
Yeah, what's his racing name?
Okay. Was he good? Was he decent?
Oh yeah. Well, I had him in our garden is like really really tiny. But I went to my friend's yesterday, and their family have a massive enclosed garden. So we finally got to see him run. That was fun. He's fast.
Really? You want to get him back to the tracks?
Yeah.
You earn a few quid. Fair enough. Okay, Tom, what's your vice been?
I've been walking. Like actually, after coronavirus, I got a new lease of life. I quit smoking, quit drinking, quit everything, and I started walking. I've been doing like 4 miles a day, but it all started because I started doing these. That fucking Joe Wicks and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Brilliant, that's great. But then, as a bit of a chubby chaser myself, I was like, I'm gonna do my own workout video. So I did something called From Chub to Champ. And I did like 3 workout videos for chubsters like me to try and get fit, and it was just a parody video. And then after that, I just stopped it. I started carrying on walking. So there we go.
Fair enough. Are you still off the fags and booze?
I am still off the fags and booze. Yeah.
Good for you.
Very
man.
good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I did have a beer a couple of weeks ago, but up until that point, it was 3 months. Didn't have anything.
Oh,
Get
good
you sent
for
some of that. Brewdog do some excellent
Oh, I
non-alcoholic
love
stuff.
Brewdog, yeah, I do
Yeah.
like Brewdog.
And Heineken 00 is quality.
Just get some beer.
No, don't encourage. If you don't want to drink alcohol, that's fine.
Yes, of course it's fine. Of course it's fine. Amy, are you off the alcohol as well?
Oh no, I'm having a gin and tonic.
Right, okay. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, look, thank you both of you for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
It's been lovely to meet you, Tom, and good to see you again, Amy. We're going to wrap the show up. Feel free to stay on or just jog on. It's entirely up to you. But people are often like, yeah, I need a wee, I'm off.
It's fine to have a bath now. What a bath.
Yeah, exactly. Go get a bath.
Get your knees together and rock them side to side. It's great.
It's truly been fantastic. So thank you very much indeed.
Thank you both.
Take care.
When I'm in Manchester, Lee, we'll have to meet for a pint now.
Definitely. I thought you weren't drinking.
Well, it's not going to last forever, is it?
Get to us.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely meet for a beer. Absolutely. Yeah. Listen, take care. Stay safe.
Thanks very much. See you later.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Bye.
Well, he never invited me for a fucking pint.
He didn't know where you live.
Well, yeah, I'm coming. I'm tagging along. They were lovely.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, very good indeed.
Yeah.
Very happy. Lovely show.
Yeah. And I'm going to go check out the actor awareness stuff because it's new to me, not as a non-actor. So I'm going to go check that out. It sounds really good.
Yeah, it's great. And the work Dark Horse do as well.
I mean, I know Dark Horse through my social care work, and they do some great stuff.
Yeah, fantastic. So very lovely to have them on. So we're back next week.
Yeah, next Wednesday.
In our regular weekly slot. There will be. I've put a podcast out today. That was episode 8, I think. I'll be putting out 9 and 10 next week.
Who was on? Who's?
That's a good question. It was.
It feels like that's the Lewis's episode.
No, it wasn't because I've never actually edited Lewis's episode. That was episode 6, so I need to do that into a highlight so I can get that podcast out. So that was episode 7, and that was it was Rhys Dinsdale and Mitch Thompson.
That was a good one. Right?
Yeah, really good. So I titled that podcast "Lookalikes in Glastonbury."
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I like that.
So that's good. That's certainly worth a listen. Yeah, Rhys Dinsdale's certainly got some great stories, and and Mitch talking about Glastonbury I can listen to all day long. So that's great. So next week we have the lovely people at Wrongsemble, who are a local company, theatre company, do a lot of outdoors stuff.
They've just done something with Slung Low, haven't they?
Just done something with Slung Low, which was I don't know whether you read Alan Lane's blog about it.
Yeah.
But he was saying, look, you've just got to do stuff. Don't wait for permission. They didn't ask for permission to do it. They just went they told the council they were doing it, and then built little pods for families to sit in. It was totally free. Yes, and Claire, who we've worked with before, works with Wrongsemble. She MD'd it, and I didn't see it, but it seemed to have gone down really well. So yeah I'm excited to talk to them and about the work that they're doing as well.
Excellent. So I guess that kind of wraps everything up. So don't forget. We are live every week, 8 o'clock on Wednesdays on YouTube, on Periscope, on Twitch. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all those kind of things. It'll help us out tremendously. We're going to try get back up to 100 subscribers so we can get ourselves a nice little URL, and it'll be nice to have all our regular viewers back. Please go on to iTunes and Spotify and have a look for us on there. Don't even listen to it. Just subscribe, delete it when it comes
What
in.
do you mean don't listen to it? God, you want to listen to it? They're great.
I know, but they don't have to. They can watch the show and then just go on there as well.
Relive it on their run or on their dog walk.
Yeah, listen to my tones. In fact, this is for future you on your jog. Go on, run a bit further. Hit that lamppost. Don't hit it. Just get to it. Mind that dog.
I'll edit that out for the podcast.
So go on there, give us a 5-star review. Like I say, subscribe and delete it, but just give us those. That'll help. Who gives a crap? Come on, that's like the 9th episode.
Yeah, we've given you a lot of. I think that's.
I'm even going to sign up for it.
Yeah, I might actually.
In fact,
I might do that.
Yeah, let's just do that. So so we've been going for an hour and 20. Thank you as always to our regulars. Hello, Sarah.
Sarah.
And we'll see you next week for Wrong Sample. I'm just trying to find the titles.
Okay.
For all
Yeah,
the
like,
credits.
subscribe. See you next week. Looking forward to it already.